Everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Science. Some of you may be new. I'm happy to see you. Melody, my information is located on Classroom. I will show you again. I've shown the other class where I want you to take a look when you need some help. My information is right in the classroom marker here where it says ABC Science. There's my name, email, cell, and office number. So at any time, if you need help with anything at all related to the class and unrelated to the class, because we are a multi-service agency, please feel free to let me know. Don't be afraid to ask. So We're gonna wait one more minute. We're gonna start in on our lesson about the human body. Today we're going to be talking about, well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to do a quick review that I posted yesterday. We'll start this review at 11:30. It's just for you to look at and to understand the organization. And so we're going to take a look at that and then we'll start. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Science. Good to see you. Um, I am Melody. What we're going to do is a quick review of the organization of the human body system. Then we're going to focus in on individual systems today, starting with the circulatory system. So the big picture is that our body is organized on different levels, from organ systems at the top going down to cells, groups of cells from tissues, and groups of tissues from organs. Organs then form organ systems. All of the parts of the body work together to maintain something called homeostasis, important word, which means to keep the system stable, everything just in balance. And if anything does not work in balance with the body, then the body system can break down and you know what happens after that, right? Key terms: cell, tissue, organ, organ system. So starting from the smallest unit of structure and function, and we've talked about cells. Then we have a cluster of cells forming tissues when they have similar functions, and then a group of tissues working together make an organ. And the balance, the process where the body tries to keep everything in balance, homeostasis. All the systems of the body work together to maintain homeostasis. Hormones and the endocrine system play a large role in maintaining the balance within the body, and many, many different things, from digestion to organ function. And if homeostasis fails, a person may get sick and die, and there are, illnesses which interrupt homeostasis, and then you may start to see organ failure. So here we go, starting from the most general, an organism. Then you have an organ system, an organ, a tissue, and a cell, right? And that's least complex to most complex. We are an organism. And if you've seen this before, which I believe you have, we start with the most basic molecules of life, molecules, atoms, which combine to form molecules. Then you have an organelle, a cell, a tissue, organ system, organism, connected cells. Well, let's look back at the cell, which is a basic unit of life, and it's the smallest unit capable of carrying out the functions of life. We have special cells that are suited to perform a certain task, whether it's a blood cell, a bone cell, a nerve cell. So connected cells performing a similar function form a tissue. And in the human body, we have 4 types of tissue. Connective tissues, which connect different structures to form overall structure in the body, like ligaments, which join the joints and the bones. Epithelial tissue, which covers the body surface to protect your organs, and also secretes and absorbs substances like within our stomach. Muscle tissue, which can contract to move the bones. And nerve tissue, which carries electric nerve signals from the brain. The organs are made up, or to the brain, um, made up of two or more types of tissues working together. For example, within the heart, you have different types of tissue. Within the brain, you have different types of tissue. Within the lungs, whether the outside or the inside, and the skin, the outer part and the inner part. And so the organs can be placed together into an overall organ system, which does a more complex job. We're going to break down these organ systems, starting today with the circulatory system. It transports oxygen, nutrients, other substances to the cells and carries away waste. The nervous system, which controls sensation, thought, movement, and others, and virtually all other bodily activities. Then we have the respiratory system, which takes in oxygen and releases waste, CO2, water. The digestive system breaks down food and absorbs nutrients. The muscular system supports the body, allows it to move. And then we have the skeletal system, which gives our body structure and protects our internal organs. It's all by design. So that's our quick review of the human body organ system. What we're going to go back and look at now is the circulatory system. Oop, I don't want gold. So we're going to start with the circulatory system today. Let's take a quick look. When we're talking about our circulatory system, we are talking about a network of veins, arteries, capillaries, when we're going from the biggest to the smallest. And in our circulatory system, we have our heart, the different parts of the heart, the veins and the arteries, which carry oxygenated blood to all of our organs and tissues, and also move it away from our extremities and our organs back to the lungs to be oxygenated. It's lacking in oxygen when it's blue. And there's some of these arteries which you would know, like the carotid artery is a major artery in the neck. We have the pulmonary arteries and veins, the different parts of chambers of the heart, which the upper chambers are called the atriums here and here. The lower chambers are called ventricles. And we, as you can see on our kidneys, we've got renal arteries, feeding, there's our digestive system feeding all the parts of our body. And this extension of the artery that goes into your thigh is called the femoral artery. And that is also a major transporter of blood in our body. I don't know if you remember last year or maybe the year before, a member of the RPD accidentally shot himself in the leg while driving, and he bled to death very quickly because the bullet struck his femoral artery. And you're thinking, wow, that's all the way down there in the leg. But that's a major artery that pumps blood very quickly. So if it's injured or wounded, you would have a lot of blood loss. The same with the carotid artery. That's also been used to an excessive police practices to press on a person's carotid artery, in which case they would lose consciousness pretty quickly. So I'm going to look some more at these parts of the circulatory system. We're going to get into that a little more in depth, but again, wanted you to know the top chambers are the atrium, bottom parts of the ventricle, the side, which is getting ready to go to the lungs and get fresh blood coming away from the heart, going to get lungs. This is the right side. He's facing us, so imagine him being turned around. And then on your left side, in those chambers, that is all oxygenated blood, as you can see, that's getting ready to go to all parts of our body. So if you see the pattern here with the veins, This blood's all carrying blood that has fed all of the organs and tissues, and it's coming back to the lungs to get refreshed, to get fresh oxygen. And on this side, you see the flow. It is oxygen rich, and this is where it's going to feed all the body's parts and tissues. Now let's take a quick look at our practice. Basically, what you need to learn is this. I'll take you through this really quick. What does the heart do? It is a pump. Usually, and you can listen to this on your own later. It beats about 60 to 100 times a minute. And with each heartbeat, the heart sends blood throughout our bodies that has been oxygenated to feed and nourish the cells. And after delivering the oxygen, the blood comes back to the heart. And then the heart sends the blood to the lungs to pick up more oxygen. So that's over and over and over. So the circulatory system is made of blood vessels carrying blood away from and toward the heart. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, and veins carry blood back to the heart to be oxygenated. So let's take a look again at the parts of our heart. We have the bottom chambers, which are called ventricles. They are divided by something that is called a septum. The atria are separated from the ventricles, atria here, by valves, and the valves separate the right atrium from the right ventricle, and the mitral valve separates the left atrium from the left ventricle, and they also separate the ventricles from the large blood vessels that carry the blood leaving the heart. And so those valves are very important. If you have issues with those valves, they may cause an irregular heartbeat or other more serious problems. The valves, the pulmonic valve is between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, which carries blood to the lungs. Think of the word pulmonary. And then the aortic valve, here's our aorta, is between the left ventricle. There we go. Between the left ventricle and the aorta, and here, and it carries blood to the body. So what are parts of the circulatory system? The pulmonary circulation goes from the heart to the lungs and back again, from the heart to the lungs. And the systemic circulation carries blood from the heart all over the body and then back to the pulmonary. The pulmonary artery is a big artery that comes from the heart. It's right here. Comes from the heart, and it splits into two main branches and then brings blood from the heart to the lungs. And in the lungs, the blood picks up oxygen and gives off carbon dioxide, and then the blood comes back to the body. Okay, so the aorta is a big artery that leaves the heart carrying this oxygenated blood. Let's take a look at our aorta. There's our aorta, carries that oxygen-rich blood all over the body. It's like a tree, and the branches get smaller and smaller as they get further away from the aorta. And then at each body part, you have a network of tiny blood vessels, which are called capillaries, and they connect the very small artery branches to the very small veins. And they have very thin walls, and so through them, oxygen and nutrients pass through to the cells, and then waste products are brought into the capillaries. The capillaries go into the small veins, and then they get bigger as the blood approaches the heart for reoxygenation. Okay, and then there are two veins that lead to the heart are called the vena cava. How does the heart beat? This is a lot. We'll go back over it. Don't get scared. The heart beats by a system of electric signals, and it is a true electrical signal. Um, I don't think I need to go too much into this. And our heartbeat is made up of two phases called systole, when the ventricles contract and pump blood into the aorta and the pulmonary artery. And then it makes the first sound of the heartbeat. Loop, loop, makes that first loop. And so then the ventricles close. They keep the blood from backing up, so then they can allow blood into the aorta and back into the ventricles. But then when they stop contracting, they close to prevent the backflow of blood. Okay. And then that's when you get the second part of the heartbeat. And then in the second part, the atrial ventricle valves open and the ventricles relax, which allows the ventricles to fill with blood and get ready for the next heartbeat. Whew, what do I can do? What can I do to keep a healthy heart? Exercise, nutritious diet, low in fats, high in fruits and vegetables. If you smoke, don't smoke. Go for medical checkups on a regular basis and tell your doctor about family history of heart disease, heart problems. And if you ever have chest pain, trouble breathing, dizzy, or fainting spells, you feel like our heart goes really fast or skips the beat, seek medical help immediately. Immediately. Because can young people have heart disease? Sure can. Young people have heart attacks? Yes. Depends on what is in your family history. So those are the parts of the heart. And you, again, can listen to this on your own. So you can listen to that with the dialogue on your own if you need to see this again. But I'm going to show you this little exercise and we'll see what it is really we need to nail down. So let's work through this real quick together. What is the main organ of the circulatory system? It is the what? Heart. What does the circulatory system do? It brings blank to all parts of the body. It brings blood. What can you do to take care of your heart? We can exercise or lay on the sofa. What we might want to do and what we should do are two different things. You need to exercise and you need to eat a healthy diet. How big is your heart? Didn't talk about that. Let me show you something. That's about how big it is. It's as big as your fist or as big as your head. I don't know how you have that in your chest cavity. It is as big as your fist. Okay, I think I talked about this a few times. What kind of blood vessels bring blood from the organs to the heart? From the organs to the heart. Arteries or capillaries? They are arteries. Where are oxygen and nutrients exchanged? They're exchanged in small vessels called capillaries. Which blood vessels bring blood from the organs to the heart? Those would be the veins. They're blue because they lack oxygen. And the rhythmic movement of blood in the arteries is called our what? Dum, 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 dum. It's called our what? It's called our heartbeat. Eating healthy food and doing yoga is bad for your heart. True or false? Eating healthy food and yoga, which relaxes you and helps to relieve stress. That's false. So the two upper chambers are called what? The atrium or the ventricle? Auricle or the ventricle? Let's see, the auricle. And the two lower chambers are called ventricles. That should be atrium. Okay, so now let's pick what goes where. A, those are going, look. Then we have B. Let's call these capillaries, right? Then we have C going back to the heart. Probably going to be veins, right? Going away from the heart, arteries. And D, that is our what? That is our heart. That is our heart. How do you feel about that? Match each term with the correct definition. The heart does what? Carries blood from the organs to the heart, pumps blood around the body, carries blood around the body, brings blood from the heart to the organs, or in this blood vessels, oxygen and nutrients are exchanged. Heart does what? Yeah. What do blood vessels do? And blood vessels are veins and arteries and capillaries. They carry blood all around the body. And what do arteries do? Carry blood from the heart to the organs. That's the fresh blood full of oxygen. What do the capillaries do? They exchange nutrients, right? They are the tiniest blood vessels. And then carrying blood from the organs to the heart back to get the fresh oxygen, that would be our veins. Oh boy, we got to label this diagram. Well, I think this is our right side, correct? Right atrium. Right ventricle. Left atrium. Left ventricle. Finish. Let's check our answers. Hello, ABC, Melody Hudson speaking. Okay, Shantae, how you doing? How can I help you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Let me just finishing up this science lesson. Let me call you right back, okay? All right. Okay. Okay, y'all. Glad you're asking questions. Glad you're asking questions. Your understanding is most important to us. So I got 8 out of 10. What did we do wrong? The rhythmic movement of blood in the arteries is called your pulse. Oh, okay. And what's the other one? Did I not finish answering this? These are capillaries. These are capillaries. These are arteries. And then everything else was right. Okay, I don't know what happened there at the bottom, y'all. But let's look at that answer. The rhythmic movement of blood in the arteries is called your pulse. Well, that's all we have for today. This was a lengthy lesson, but we're gonna go back over it again. So thank you all for hanging in there. I'm gonna talk to you later, and have a wonderful day. Stay cool, be kind, stay in faith, baby. That's what we have to do. All right, believers and non-believers, just be kind to one another. That's all. Take care.